It's Luxembourg for us. Dundee United in the Conference League second qualifying round up against Strassen. They have a 1-0 lead from the first leg at Tannadice. Can they get the job done and get through to the third round in what looks like being a tie against Rapid Vienna? The action is just a few minutes away now, and I'll pass you over to our capable commentary team, Michael Stewart, Billy Dodds and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Thomas. What an opportunity this is for Dundee United to win their first European tie in 28 years. It really is a shocking statistic, and they'll probably never have a better chance than this one to get over the first hurdle and get through to what will probably, very probably, be a meeting, if they can get through, with Rapid Vienna in the third qualifying round of this Conference League competition. It's not a setting, you would have to say, that makes you think about top-flight European football. We've had the view from, well, I could call it the main stand, but it's actually the one and only stand in the Municipal Stadium in Differding, and lovely surroundings, but it doesn't look like the home of a top-flight team. So it's a great chance for Dundee United to build on what they did at Tannadice. It was frustrating that they didn't score more than the one and only goal from Zach Sapsford, but they will hope that they can be better tonight, a week further on into their preparations for the new season, which starts, of course, at the weekend. And we're just watching at the moment the pennants being exchanged and the coin being tossed in the middle. Will Ferry is captaining United. He's the vice-captain, of course, of the club, and he has proved himself fit enough to start in this one. Ryan Strain not so fortunate, he is out. Ross Graham, of course, is the club captain, but having undergone surgery, he's going to be out till October, it seems. So Ferry leading the side, and certainly one of United's top performers last season. Jim Goodwin's team looking to keep up momentum. A year ago they were celebrating winning the championship, back in the Premiership, and a top half finish for them and the return of European football. So can the success story for them continue? But they are much changed. Just about to get underway in Luxembourg, just about bang on 6 o'clock. Part one of a European double bill on Sports Sound tonight, with Hibs against Midtjylland to come later. So let's hope we are celebrating two Scottish teams into the next round of Europe. United might well have to be creating their own intensity in this game tonight. They've got a big support, but there are plenty spaces around the pitch for the atmosphere to disappear, despite the best efforts of their fans. And we are underway. Strassen against Dundee United, and it's just the one goal in it from Tannadice last week. United had one or two other opportunities to score, but at least they're ahead in the game. At least they didn't concede. Same Strassen team. If you've just joined us, a couple of changes for United, with Craig Sibbald into the midfield and Panucci Kamara replacing the injured Ryan Strain. Well, Brian reckoned methyl for a comparison of what this scene looks like. Dodsy, any thoughts on...
Just the stadium, Rob, just the stadium.
I think it'll help United. Like, it looks like somebody who go for a pre-season training base. So as I said, the crowd are not going to be influencing, hopefully, the referee's decisions too much. The players getting that atmosphere where it can be toxic. It's just wide open, maybe a couple of thousand there, so it's not an intimidating atmosphere.
It is Strassen on the attack. Dundee United playing in their all-white change colours, and it's Sibbald who breaks up the attack down the flank from the home team and sends the ball forward and gets Dundee United up the pitch. Jim Goodwin will hope his team is a bit more joined up this week, and it is that stage of the season where you're hoping that a few more days on the training ground are taking you a few steps forward in terms of linking everything together. But when you've made so many signings, it's a major challenge. Dundee United have a throw in then left side, and Will Ferry to fling this in towards the near post area. Making a meal of it defensively were Una Strassen before getting it clear to the edge of the box. And it was looked like a deflected effort from just outside the area from Sibbald, and Dundee United will have their first corner.
Yeah, they did look too solid defensively, did they? And when it fell to Sibbald, it hits a strike and just deflects over for the first corner. So good start from United.
Corner kick right hand side, Christian Trapanovski to pop this in. His delivery, out swinging, and a free header around the penalty spot. Well, that was an early chance, the sort of early chance Dundee United would have been looking for. Pretty disappointing effort at goal. He wasn't picked up.
Should have done better, really. I mean, you're talking about 10 yards out, Rob. It's a free header. There's nobody near him that's really, you could suggest, putting him off either. I think it was Aovu that had the header, and early on in the game like that, to miss the target, I'd imagine the coaching staff will be bitterly disappointed. You want to really be getting on target and testing the goalkeeper.
It didn't have to be the most wonderful corner kick. It was just floated in by Trapanovski, and suddenly Aovu, I think, was surprised that he had quite so much room, and he should have done a whole lot better than he did.
He's an outswinger, and the thing is that Michael's pointing out that he saw it all the way as well, so he's got to make sure it's a better contact, but just glided his header over the crossbar. It was I mean, you're talking 10 yards. If you get it down the way with that pace on it, you're certainly going to test the goalkeeper.
Long range shot at goal from Strassen. It was Daryl Mira, the Frenchman, who fancied making some headlines from long range, but it was nowhere near Kucherenko's goal. He just watched it go well wide of target. What will encourage Dundee United, of course, is carving out that early opportunity, but how much better they would feel if they could make the 1-0 advantage 2-0. But they've coughed up possession pretty cheaply in the midfield, and now looking to atone his camera, and the referee's whistle sounds, and it's going to be a yellow card for United. Is it against Trapanovski?
Yeah, it is. It just dives into the tackle here at the end after Kamara had been trying to challenge for it. It broke free. Trapanovski lunges in, and the referee very quickly pulling out the yellow card.
And that all stemmed from just giving the ball away very cheaply in the middle. And Strassen have got a free kick towards the left-hand side. First chance for them to put the ball in the box. 1-0 down from Tannadice. It's taken short. Is it going to be the long-range effort? It is. It's a bit of a daisy cutter, and no great test of Kucherenko. How far out was he here? About 45 yards. This was optimistic, I think. It barely reached the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a test for him because it's come through bodies. It's not travelling with a great deal of pace, but Kucherenko has to watch all the way and just gathers it up. Routine save.
Oh. Bad header back towards the goalkeeper, who comes and collects just inside the box. And well, he has bailed out Bert Esselink there. It was a tentative header. It was never going to get to the goalkeeper, and he got himself out to the edge of the box to get there first and managed to prevent himself going right outside the box. But he certainly had to atone for a glaring error there.
Aye, but I mean, the shy to begin with, Rob. I mean, I think it's Chevet that throws it in. I mean, I don't know what his thought process is, because it just allows Una Strassen to go and press right on top. Esselink's too slow to react. It just looks as if he's like caught on his heels. But the throw-in should never be getting launched back that way.
There's another ball in behind Esselink, and he's in trouble again, looking really uncertain early on. He's been picked out as one of the successes so far for Dundee United, but looking really shaky in the last couple of minutes.
Just a bit. I mean, you were asking me, or Thomas was asking me, what do you need in terms of performance? I said, be solid, don't give anything away, and suddenly look a bit shaky, short with a headed pass back, and then Esselink doesn't deal with just a launch ball centrally and lets it bounce. And I've said it before, when you let the ball bounce coming from that sort of height and distance, then you could be in trouble, and they nearly were, United.
He looks as if he's been shaken up by that header back to the goalkeeper, which didn't find its target, and then when the ball was launched just moments afterwards, that uncertainty was continuing for him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you're right, you know, Dodds is absolutely spot on there. You can't let it bounce, but it just, the whole thing was just madness to begin with. Don't go throwing it back there. He's under severe pressure because the throw-in's just a perfect signal for Una Strassen to go and press the life out of it. He lets it bounce, he's under serious pressure, and you're right, the next time that ball came up, just more hesitancy and lack of clarity in what they're trying to do.
Dundee United at the moment knocking the ball around, just looking to reassert themselves and get a little bit of composure back. They don't want to be giving any encouragement at all to Strassen. Camera in possession, shifts it out wide right. Dundee United having passed up one massive opportunity in the opening few minutes from Trapanovski's corner kick, and what a chance Yuri Jovu had to score his first Dundee United goal. But here comes Strassen again, getting forward down the right side, flooding players forward, looking to create here from the right side of the box. It's flashed across goal, it's not dealt with, and what an opportunity. It's blazed over the top by Daryl Mira, the left wing back. It rolled back to him so invitingly after the goalkeeper parried it clear, and he's missed a massive chance.
Well, it comes just after a little phase of play where Dundee United looked like they were popping it about all right. It gets to the edge of the box, they turn it over far too easily, and then they're countered on far too easily. Gaping holes defensively. I think Will Ferry's actually caught up on the... I think he may well be the guy that's up on the right-hand side when the ball gets turned over initially, but where's the rest of his teammates filling in? Because it comes down this side. Strassen have got two players over. They've got absolutely nobody who's like going out to close them down. You can just waltz into the box, fizz a ball right across the face of goal, and all of a sudden it's panic stations.
Worrying. Two things. They're giving the ball away for fun, and they look open, and it's a thing you don't want away from home in Europe. And Michael's right up on that right hand side was a throw in, but when they gathered it was just a ball up the line. Then it was a switchy play. Brandenberger's in down the right, crosses it, and it falls to Mira, and he should, if he hits target, he probably scores. A big let off. You're pointing out, Michael, and you're quite correct to do that, because they do look so open. It's usually it's tight and congested in that midfield area, and Strassen are just straight balls through the middle, and they're finding players spare. It is worrying for United. They're not together, and they're not really looking like as if they're nice and solid.
Dundee United living dangerously at the moment. There are around about 1,000 Dundee United fans in the ground in Luxembourg, but you wouldn't know at the moment because they've gone very quiet, because they are worried about how this match has started. Kereshtes pushing forward from the back, looking to create an opportunity here. Scrambled away at the back by Strassen, and Dundee United are up the pitch. And a ripple of applause from the Dundee United supporters. Sapsford involved there in the link-up, looking to create something early on. Hacked away by the Strassen backline. Played 10 minutes in Luxembourg. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0, and still 1-0 for Jim Goodwin's team on aggregate. In comes the long throw from Will Ferry. Plenty of targets in all white, Dundee United's colours tonight, but it is alleged to have gone behind off a Dundee United player. A blast of the referee's whistle, and the verdict seems to have gone Strassen's way.
Not sure what he's given there, whether it's a foul for the long throw coming in from Ferry, but Sapsford got a run on it, and I thought maybe I've got a better connection, but The whistle had gone anyway.
The TV coverage is a little bit eccentric at the moment. We're looking at a freeze frame of a rerun from about 2 or 3 minutes ago, and now we're back live, and Dundee United have got a free kick close to the corner flag left-hand side. So they certainly created from an earlier set piece, the corner kick, which offered up a great chance for Yovu to score. Can they settle themselves with a second goal of the tie? 0-0 in Luxembourg. In it comes from the free kick left-hand side, and it's a real scramble in the 6-yard box before the Luxembourg team get that away and out, and it's the sort of pressure that Dundee United want to be applying.
Esselink, I think, got a flick on it.
And the near post there.
It's not the best ball in, it's got a bit of pace on it, but again, the good thing for United, it got a run and a little flick on it. Goalkeeper kind of blocks it. I don't know if it's hitting target anyway. And then there's a scramble, but better signs.
Sibold involved in the build-up. Dundee United look to create. Chevet involved. The cut back from Sapsford is cut out. Really good play from the man who scored at Tannadice last week. And there's a roar from the Dundee United fans, and it's probably a roar of relief that their team are taking this game in the right direction again, having gone through a few nervy moments already in the tie.
Yeah, certainly. It's just another moment where it feels a lot more positive in an attacking sense for Dundee United, getting into dangerous areas, opening them up, and looking like a possibility that they're going to be able to get a strike on goal. It didn't come to anything then, but certainly if they continue to get into those areas, you would hope and expect that they'd be able to find the back of the net.
Free kick for Dundee United, midway inside Strassen territory, out towards the left. Ferry clips it up into the box. Strassen get it clear, straight back to the Dundee United vice-captain. Ferry tries again. It's a cross switch. I think the minute he struck it, knew he'd given it too much. It's high and it's beyond the goal of Strassen, and that takes the heat right off the home team. 14 minutes gone in Luxembourg. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0, 1-0 on aggregate.
Yeah, it's better. The flow he plays is to the other side of the pitch. There's been a few let-offs for Dundee United so far in the game, too many for my liking, but they're starting to get a bit of the ball, creating the right areas. It's giving them a bit of confidence. They've just got to make sure when they lose possession, they get nice and tight and together and make it more difficult for Strassen in possession.
United on the ball with Esselink, middleman of the back three. Out to Kerestes, the Hungarian, on the left side. Clips it forward for Sapsford. Takes a heavy touch, but manages to stop it going out. Then it's Dolcek inside to Sibold. Across the pitch it's going. Kamara is there. Dundee United building it up nicely. Back again with Esselink and Sibold, and a neat header down for Kerestes. Switching it side to side. Now Ferry on the left. Rolls it in for Sibold. There's room here 30 yards out. Trapanovsky. Chevet with a cross ball in. Sapsford had a swing at it 6 yards out. And over the top it goes.
Well, I mean, looking at it from this angle here, I just think it looks straightforward. You know, a great bit of space around about 7-8 yards out there in the middle of the goal, and he just gets under it and blazes it over the bar. I mean, it's a well-worked move. Trapanovsky lays it out to Chevet. It comes in, bounces up perfectly for Sapsford, and it comes off his shin. Jeez, I mean, that really is...
glorious, isn't it? It's a glorious chance. He's just got to make sure, even if he bundles it down the way, he's still got a chance to get in, but just as Mikey said, it's just come right off the outside of his shin and miles over the crossbar.
Bad clearance from Kucherenko. And he's fortunate that the ball comes back straight to him into his gloves. It was a really poor clearance. He was well off his line, and a little bit of quality there and composure from Strassen, and that could have been disappearing back over his head and into the back of his net.
Well, I mean, the concern is it's been a period where Dundee United have looked better. They've looked like they're really threatening, but when you continually interrupt those passages with moments like that, it just breeds nervousness. We've seen a few of them already, and we're only 15-16 minutes in. On the whole, there's been a lot of positive stuff for Dundee United, but equally there's been probably 3 moments of real self-inflicted danger that Dundee United have gifted to Una Strassen.
Certainly some moments which have had hearts and mouths for the Dundee United fans, plenty of them in Luxembourg, hoping their team can get the job done, and 2 glaring opportunities as well down at the right end for them, with Jovu missing a free header from Trapanovski's corner kick, and then you would have to describe that as a sitter for Sapsford, wouldn't you? 6-7 yards out, right in front of goal, off his shin.
Yeah, it is sitting up high, you have to say that, but when you get a chance that sits up that high, the one technique you've got to show is that you're getting over the ball. He doesn't, he just slashes at it and it goes miles over it. A better connection down the way, even if he mishits it, probably scores. It was that good a chance.
Just looking at Özcan, the Strassen goalkeeper, not the tallest goalkeeper in the world, but not an awful lot to threaten him so far. He hasn't had to make a save because Dundee United have missed the target with both their big opportunities so far. 18 minutes gone. Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland, the European double bill tonight will be at Easter Road for an 8 o'clock kickoff as Hibs look to get the job done, and it would be some achievement if they can knock out Midtjylland. Still plenty for them to do, and plenty here for Dundee United to do as well. We can't really be too sure about the quality of Strassen. We didn't see too much special from them in the first leg, but I think so far in this game at times, Billy, they've been made to look better than they are because Dundee United have been so shaky.
Self-inflicted, as we've been pointing out, and that brings its own pressure and nervousness as well, and you can see that playing out. They've settled a little bit in the last 10 minutes or so, but it was shaky at times at the start of this game.
Chevet playing in the right wing-back position in place of Strain, with Kamara in the central midfield area alongside Sibbald. Dundee United just need to calm themselves and show a little bit more composure and belief that they are the better team, but they've still to demonstrate it. Taking one of their chances would be good. Ferry foiled down the left-hand side by Brandenberger, and the ball goes out for a Strassen throw. We've played almost 20 minutes.
So, looking at Chevet, we wondered where he would play tonight. He started in midfield. He's played centre half for United as well. He's so versatile, and then he finds himself out in that right wing back role tonight. So versatile, and he got a chance a few minutes ago where he crossed it to Sapsford and he knocked it over. But he looks a really good player, Chevet. I know he's been there a season now, so getting settled in at Tannadice, and as I say, very versatile. Yeah,
he is that type of player, isn't he? They can just slot in just about anywhere for Jim Goodwin. And he's already carved out that chance for Sapsford. Goal scorer in the first leg, and he should have been a goal scorer in the second leg. As the whistle goes, and Strassen have a free kick, just as United thought they'd stolen a bit of possession. So many changes, 9 debuts for Dundee United, 7 starters and 2 off the bench last week. And it's pretty tough when you've done such a good job of being back in the Premiership and finishing in the top half, qualifying for Europe. And Jim Goodwin's pretty much at the start again in terms of putting together the squad. So many key players have gone, 16 have gone out the door, including some of United's best performers last season, the likes of Dolby and Walton. On the attack, Strassen looking to create something against Dundee United defence, which has not looked rock solid so far, and all that does, of course, is give the Luxembourg team encouragement and the belief that they can create more chances and more problems.
Yeah, you're alluding to all the changes, and that's why it's so important. And I know he's not Scottish, that's another argument, but with the likes of Chevet being there a year now, brings a bit of stability and experience to that Dundee United team, just in terms of length of time being at the club.
The ball knocked forward towards Sapsford, right hand side, clips it into the box. Nobody in white there for Dundee United. It's uncertain defending from Strassen, and it's collected by Ferry, left hand side, swings in the cross ball. It's beyond Sapsford, and it's hooked away. And if United can create decent chances, they've shown it already in the game, and if they can continue to do so, you'd imagine it's only a matter of time before they tuck one of those opportunities away. Meantime, a yellow card for Craig Sibbald. He looks a bit bemused about it. So 2 yellows already for United, Trapanovsky and Sibbald.
Yeah, he kicked the ball away. It was stupidity there. I could understand what he was trying to do, but it was so obvious right in front of the referee. He'd got a foul given against him, and then just as the player was wanting to take a quick one and try and catch United in the breaks, it's a good yellow to take for the team, but it puts them under a bit of pressure going forward in the game.
One of the best pictures we've seen from the TV director so far was a tray of pints of ice cool lager being ferried to some of the fans.
Expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, going by Brian's pricing, that's probably about £2,500 worth, that tray into the stand.
Better no spill it.
Kereshtes with the throw in left side for United, flings it down the line towards Dolcek, returned with interest by Strassen, and when the ball went the way of Kereshtes again, he couldn't quite keep it in and launch it before it went out for a throw-in for the side which finished second in the Luxembourg National Division last year. Just their second ever European tie, and they lost the first one. That was last season. The game's not been a thing of beauty so far, but Dundee United don't really care about that. Just looking at pictures of Jim Goodwin on the touchline, it can be as ugly as you like for him as long as United get the right result. But this 1-0 advantage continues to feel pretty fragile.
It does, but they're not a great team, Strassen, and I hate to say that because you're tempting fate, but it is ragged, and it is just as if they are, let's get through the tie, let's just do enough. It's not been free-flowing, it's not been a great game, as you say, but I probably didn't expect it to be a great game in the evidence of last week. It's not fluent yet. Mike, you were at the game, so I mean, you said the home tie, it wasn't get the ball down and play in waves of attack. It was sticky at times.
Well, I mean, obviously, when you look at the number of changes that have been made at Dundee United, you'd expect to a certain extent that things are going to be, disjointed, and they're still trying to find their feet. Coupled with the fact that last week, every single one of the starting 11, there was obviously the debutants, but then the rest of the side were just players that had been in the door this time last year, so there's not a great deal of continuity, and it's very similar obviously tonight as well. So they're still trying to find their flow, they're still trying to find their system. It looks very much like it is going to be this 3-4-3 to a certain extent, with Trapanovsky and Dolcek in behind Sapsford, and that's going to take time to work its way through into a bit more of a fluent style.
Another long throw launched in by Ferry, straight back to him. It's a great ball in this time, left-footed, dipping towards the 6-yard box, difficult to defend, and it did pose problems, that for Strassen at the back. Much better delivery from him, stretching the home defence. And Dundee United try again with another long throw in the middle, helped on by Sapsford. And everyone in red and black back for Strassen to get that away, and they will keep themselves in the tie at only 1 down, courtesy of that Zach Sapsford goal at Tannadice last week.
Another long throw. The best chance of the game has actually come down the right, but there's a lot more coming down the left, whether it is the long throw of Will Ferry. Remember the last time they get caught out when he took one over on that side. But there's plenty coming down the left from Ferry, whether it's delivery or long throws coming into the box, and it's led to a few opportunities for Dundee United.
Taxi for Ferry. He's gone across to the right side this time to take another long throw. Can he hit the mark this time? And it comes from Dundee United's number 11. It's Strassen who win the aerial duel and get that away, and the ball is hustled back out wide to Ferry again. Now Sibbald, clipped into the box. Again, the home team get that clear. And finally, it's hooked away by Agovic and collected in the midfield by Jovu, who had that great opportunity in the opening few minutes. Ferry again out on the right-hand side. Into the feet of Sapsford, loses it. United scrapping to try and win it back. Jovu plays it out wide. Strassen on the attack, and finally the sliding challenge for United sends the ball out of play. Brandenburger to take a quick throw-in for them. Headed away by Kerejtes. Now Ferry flicks it from halfway down the left side. Sapsford chasing, and tidied up by Agovic. Back to Özcan, the goalkeeper. Still with the ball on his left foot, the little keeper. Plays it up to halfway. Esselink won the header. Back it goes again to Koray Özcan. Forward it goes for Strassen, working it down the left side. And that's a well-timed challenge from Jovu, but they have it back, Strassen. The ball bouncing off Ferry, and it was almost like a 1-2 as it came off the United skipper tonight, and it set up a shooting opportunity for the home team, and the effort flashes wide.
Yeah, a lot of their best attempts so far in the game have come from United attacking. Just before that, we talked about Ferry out on that right-hand side, and then take the long throws, and Mikey's already pointed out nobody's really filling in that left back, and they nearly get another break, end up getting a throw in. From that throw in, they work it to the left hand side. I think it's Vova who eventually has the shot, and it was a pass that came back to him off Will Ferry, and then he hits a shot. But it's worrying times again, because they look a little bit disorganised when they should be back in their shape by that time. It's the only thing I would say. It's been pretty comfortable apart from self-inflicted chances against United, or being caught on the counter-attack when they're up the pitch and Strassen are breaking quickly on them.
Benicio Kamara's just been having a little tidy up on the touchline. Blood coming from his nose. That's been sorted, and he is back on the pitch again, and we're almost at the half-hour mark in Luxembourg. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0, and still doubt about the outcome here, the sort of doubt that Dundee United want to wipe away as quickly as possible. But at the moment, there's still hope about this Strassen team as they work it down the left. The cutback is cut out, but it's stabbed away unconvincingly by Jovu. And then the follow-up attempt from the Brazilian Mateus just dribbles wide of target.
I mean, just reiterating what we've already been saying, that they're just too easy to play through at the moment, Dundee United. You know, it's making Strassen look like a real competent side that are picking passes off, but they're making passes and they're receiving the ball. They're under no pressure, you know, and that's got to be a major concern for Jim Goodwin, in that the game's still sitting 0-0. The tie's only 1-0, and as much as Dundee United have looked dangerous on occasions, so have Strassen. Not through incredible play, just because the way that Dundee United are set up. They've got the guys at the back three, but when Strassen are in possession, that back three are just sitting back, you know, no responsibilities. Okay, we'll hold our position here, and Strassen are sliding balls into front men. They're getting it, they're turning, they're spinning it out into the wide areas, and you're like, get touch tight, get physical, put them under a little bit of pressure.
That's happening a lot. I've noticed that, where one of them should be, there's three of them, so one of them, it's Mateus who's going in deep, and one of them should go and the other two should narrow, or vice versa. But the three of them, as Mikey's perfectly pointed out, they're just staying back and saying, oh, when you go short, you're not really hurting us in there. Yeah, they are.
Looking to create again with a cross in from the right hand side. Strassen, it was Mateus in the middle, getting his head on it. Decent enough challenge from Jovu against him to ensure that the effort from the Brazilian didn't hit the target. But again, they continue to create, they continue to be encouraged that a shock result could be on.
It's just, you know, and by the way, you know, Thomas will tell you the same. At Tannadice, there was an element of this where there was no real control or structure to the game, and it's starting to take a very similar pattern here in that Strassen are well and truly in the game, and they shouldn't be. Just a little bit of game knowledge, a little bit of nous, and a little bit of quality from Dundee United, and they should be able to control this game without any, you know, serious trouble.
Forward goes Jovu out of defence for United. Then he tried the back heel, which wasn't a great idea.
But that's a perfect example. You've got your right-sided centre-half who's stepping forward into the game. I don't think he's got any real idea about what it is he's looking to do. There's no patterns of play that he knows, right, what I'm about to do. I'm stepping in here, I'm going to hit my wide man, or I'm going to hit the striker's feet. The best pattern of the game in the first leg was when they got the ball into Sapsford's feet early and quick with intensity at the start of the second half. It's when they scored their goal as well. I mean, Billy will tell you as well, I can't remember Sapsford getting involved in this game, you know, so far, other than his chance. Yeah. But I'm talking about an open play. You know, I can't remember him being involved in this game so far, and it was like that for the first leg. There was large chunks he wasn't, but the best part of the game was when they got into his feet and they had runners off him early. Dolček again today, you know, tonight. He's barely touched the ball. It was like that on Thursday night as well. If he's going to play in those pockets of space, he has to get on the ball. He's got to be found. Otherwise, you're not really justifying in that position.
Yeah, he switched the pair of them. Trapanovsky started right, Dolček left, but here comes Sapsford looking to make something happen.
It's not, I mean, look, it's not rocket science. And by the way, it's not even the best layoff from Sapsford. Get the ball on his feet, plays the ball around the corner, and it looked as if it was Trapanovsky, or it was almost running through and goal. It wasn't even as if it was great quality. Hit the striker's feet, guys running off him, and he's almost through and goal.
It's definitely the strongest part of his game. He doesn't look the quickest, Sapsford. I know he scored a lovely goal when he got turned, he got at him, then reversed it last week, but it's he's done a lot of chasing tonight, so that's his game. Hold up, players support him, get himself in the box, and just that flick there nearly puts Trapanovsky in.
Not much fluency or fluidity about this Dundee United performance so far. The story remains the same, 0-0 on the night in Luxembourg and 1-0 United ahead on aggregate. In comes the long throw for Strassen, aimed in at the near post and headed away by Kerejtes. Strassen try again, they work it down the right. They look to get the ball into the box, switching it back into the centre circle. Sapsford looking to close down, and the ball sent back to Özcan, the goalkeeper. Forward it goes, United have it. But not for long again, it's poor passing, it's disjointed from the team in all white here. It continues to be a really difficult game, and making it difficult for themselves by not getting the basics right. Ball back with Kerejtes, and now Sibbald, one of the two changes. Trapanovsky, left-hand side, looking to link with Ferry. Trapanovsky again, back onto the right foot. In comes the cross ball, headed clear. Sibbald tries to get there, Camara as well. Driving towards the edge of the area. Cleared only as far as Sibbald, who feeds it through. Dolček with the shot, and it produces a diving save from Özcan. Much better this from United. Now it's Ferry, left side of the box, twisting inside and out, cross ball in, and it just wouldn't come down for the shot at goal. But it's probably the best passage of play from Dundee United we've seen so far, 36 minutes in.
Well, it was good. There was a bit of pace and intensity in it. Sibbald picking up the loose ball, slipping in. Dolček gets the strike. It's right at the goalkeeper, unfortunately. Muschan can make a pretty comfortable save. Rather than if it's in the corners, obviously it's far more difficult for the goalkeeper. But they put them under a wee bit more pressure there. I mean, he's eventually been penalised, Dolchek, for a high boot in the box as the defender's going to try and head it as well.
Better in the build-up, Dodsey?
Yeah, composure. Any time they've shown composure, they've created an opportunity or two. But I think they've still given the ball away far too much in this game, where they've allowed Strassen to counter-attack them, and it's been worrying at times. Sticky. Still early in the season, I get it, but has to get a whole lot better going forward.
Will Ferry in possession again, infield to Kamara. And now with Sibbald on the halfway line for Dundee United. Goalless, 37 minutes gone. It's one of those nights, just get the result, get the win, get home, get into the next round. But it's not looking so straightforward for United. They've passed up a couple of great opportunities to score, and they look less than watertight at the back. And they're going to have to replace Trapanovsky maybe, because he's just pulled up and he's holding the back of his left leg. That looks like hamstring. That looks like the end of the match for him.
That's a major concern, got to say, because he's probably been the liveliest of the front players, Trapanovsky. So far, it looked a little bit strange, because it looked like he had kept the ball in play but then just gave up, obviously due to the fact that his right hamstring is gone. Yeah, I'd be absolutely astonished if this was not game over for Trapanovsky.
Yeah, just explaining to the physios what exactly happened there. But you'd be surprised, Billy, if he's able to continue.
He would need a Lazarus-type comeback. It's not going to happen. I think he just made sure that I'm done. And if it is a bad one, you're talking, 5 or 6 weeks for that. So that's another blow for Dundee United. Not happy. We said the left side's the most creative, and it has been in the match, so we'll see who comes on and takes his place.
So disruption for Dundee United with 6 minutes left of the first half. Still that goalless scoreline in Luxembourg. Still the 1-0 advantage for Jim Goodwin's team on aggregate, but Trapanovsky trudging down the touchline towards the dugout, and he will need to be replaced.
Huge frustration, obviously. As Billy said, it's obviously not just tonight, it's looking further ahead for the next month or two, with Trapanovsky being out. He's been the brightest of those front players, as I mentioned there, and it'll be interesting to see what the manager decides to do here, who it is that he's going to look to bring on.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get too many close-ups of the dugout tonight in the coverage from Luxembourg, by the looks of it. Strassen have the ball, and United temporarily down to 10 men with Trapanovsky off. Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. And this is a period of the game where the Tannadice team need to keep full focus. But on the attack here, momentarily, until yet another pass went astray. That's been a recurring theme right through the first half. It's going to be Max Waters coming on for Dundee United. Maybe surprising that he's in the squad at all, because he was injured after coming on at Tannadice, and he's managed to prove his fitness for this one, and he is involved in the action now. Trapanovsky's replacement. On comes Waters, the 26-year-old on loan from Barnsley.
Maybe it's just the way it is in the pitch, but he looks as if he's gone central as well, and Sapsford will come to this left-hand side.
Yep, Strassen looking dangerous, and it's Matthias with a chance just before half-time for the home team, and he's dragged that right foot effort wide of target. He really should have, at the very least, been forcing Kucherenko into a save.
Yeah, he chokes it and pulls it. I mean, look, it's another one of those examples where just far too easy for Strassen to be able to drive into the gaping holes that are in this Dundee United backline. A major concern, it really is. And yeah, on Max Waters, he came on last week, obviously, for Sapsford. He went through the middle, wasn't on for long before he came off injured.
Matthias gets the better of Kamara, and United trying to force him now towards the corner flag. Just looking to hang on in there at the moment, Dundee United. I think they definitely settle for the half-time break and a chance to rethink this game.
Shouldn't laugh, but the left-sided player just stood in the ball and just tripped over and nobody near him. We've all done it.
2.5 minutes left of the first 45. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0. Not a first 45 that will live long in the memory of the Dundee United fans, and there are about 1,000 of them in Luxembourg watching this, hoping for a happy ending. And the good news at the moment is they're still ahead by 1-0 on aggregate, but offering far too much encouragement to the home team, making them look a much better side than they realistically are. And they're still very much in the tie. That's what they'll be thinking at the moment. They will continue to believe, and that's what Dundee United need to extinguish, if at all possible. But passes just not sticking for Dundee United. It's untidy. And Strassen have won themselves a free kick right in the middle of the pitch.
Do you know, there's a perfect example of two pretty crap balls up to the front men. Max Waters is just, you know, he's trying to chest something down to no real support. The ball goes up to, I think it was De Souza that it goes up to. And again, not particularly great, but even although he miscontrols it under a challenge and he gets a free kick, there is no support from Dundee United. I mean, he's eventually going into another tackle to potentially keep the ball, but he wins the free kick for his side, and you're just saying, like, where are the rest of the Dundee United players around? You know, support, getting connection with each other and contact.
They weren't covering defensively,
No.
that's for sure. The two, I mean, the right centre-half, Yovo, was way wide.
Inside the last minute of the first half, and the free kick 35 yards out, presumably off the training ground. I think it will go back to the training ground because it's come to nothing for the home team, as Mira tries to get the cross in from the left-hand side. It's taken a nick on its way behind, and there won't be too much action to come after this, but a late first half corner kick opportunity for the home team. And how they would love to put the cat among the pigeons, and that would certainly be the case if they can level this tie up. Dundee United looking less than convincing so far, as the referee looks to sort out a little bit of jostling in the 6-yard box as the players prepare for the set piece. 2 minutes to be added to the first 45 as the corner kick comes in from the left side. Well, Kucherenko missed it by a mile. The goalkeeper came, tried to get gloves on it. He wasn't even close.
But, I mean, Rob, the incredible thing is, as soon as the corner's taken, he's charging out, and you know he's getting nowhere near it. As soon as the ball's been kicked.
He had one last week. He's not a liner, that's for sure. He just goes for things he probably shouldn't do.
Zachary Hadji inside stoppage time at the end of the first half with the corner kick, and this time comes for it Kucherenko and gets a good punch on it. Back into the box it comes from Strassen. Dundee United still looking to get rid of it. A series of headers inside the area, and to much relief among the tangerine-clad fans, the referee blasts his whistle and says that's a free kick. We've added one to the 45, only one to go. And I think Jim Goodwin will be looking forward to getting his players inside that away dressing room and trying to sort things out.
you're always happy if it's been disjointed, and that's the way it's been, to get them in and settle them down and try and straighten a few things out. Just be better in possession, be more solid defensively, cover one another when there's long balls going up. It's been, we've said it right from the start, it's been too open, and it's caused by United being poor in possession, them counter-attacking, the pitch being open. When you're away from home in Europe, I don't care who you play against, you've got to be more secure and tighter organised, and it's been far from it.
This has not been a comfortable watch, that is for sure. But as things stand, it's just one goal in the tie from Tannadice last week, Zach Sapsford. That is the difference between these two. But nothing to be taken for granted at this stage. And there goes the Icelandic referee's whistle for half-time in Luxembourg. And Dundee United living dangerously, no doubt about it, looking unsettled right through the team. No great composure about them, no great quality about them. The back three at times have looked as if they could do with an introduction, because they've been offering up opportunities. All the chances that have come Strassen's way have really derived from basic errors by Dundee United. Maybe this game could have been a lot different had Yuri Jovu stuck away a header inside the opening few minutes from Trapanovski's corner kick. It was he was unmarked in the middle. He looked to be taken by surprise, and his header missed the target. The other glaring opportunity for United to score was Sapsford to add to his first leg goal when he was picked out by Chevet's cut back. He was just outside the 6-yard box, right in front of goal. He had a wild swing at it, and it was much more shin than boot as he sliced his effort well wide. Those were great opportunities to settle Dundee United down, but settled is not a word you would apply to the first half showing from Jim Goodwin's team. Plenty of work to be done. They have to be better to see this done, to get the job completed and get themselves through to the next qualifying round of this Conference League half-time in Luxembourg. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0.
Dundee United in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Every season,
you could not write this script.
What a game!
It all builds.
Celtic will be crowned champions today. Aberdeen have won the Scottish Cup.
Towards these moments.
Aberdeen are SWPL champions. Rangers have done it in style today.
The Bairns are back in the big league.
And Livingston are going up.
But I'm studying his face to see if there's a tear in the eye.
And now it's time to do it all again.
The stage is set. Our team is ready. Let's get started.
So how do you see it going?
A new season of Scottish football lives here.
Don't miss a moment of the action.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, it all kicks off again. The domestic league season commencing, starting Friday night. Actually, the championship gets underway live on BBC Scotland and iPlayer. Arbroath back in the championship up against Ayr United, live on BBC Scotland. As I say, Saturday Sports In on Air, open all mics from 2 o'clock, then live commentary 5:30. Motherwell against Rangers. Sports Scene on BBC Scotland from 8 on Saturday night for highlights of the two Premiership games. Sunday, live commentary from Falkirk as they make their Premiership return. Dundee United visiting there at 2 o'clock, and we'll also have commentary from Celtic Park as the champions host St Mirren. 4:30 kick-off on that one. There'll be updates from Dens Park, Dundee Hibernian. That's a 3 o'clock kick-off on Sunday. Sports Scene highlights on BBC Scotland from 7:15 on Sunday. And then Monday night, huge one at Tynecastle, Heart of Midlothian against Aberdeen. Sports Sound on Air on BBC Radio Scotland Extra from 7 o'clock. Build up for an 8 o'clock kick-off, and of course it will all be covered across the whole weekend. Live text. Get the latest from your club at the BBC Sport Scotland website and the BBC Sport app. Real excitement building ahead of the return of domestic action. It's European action for us on Sportsound, as it has been for the last couple of weeks. Dundee United still ahead in the tie. We'll be at Easter Road at 8 o'clock, well, provided it doesn't go to extra time and penalties out in Luxembourg, with Hibs kicking off against Midtjylland in the Europa League at 8 o'clock. We'll be live at Easter Road. Dundee United goalless at half-time against Una Strassen, but with Sapsford's goal in the first leg, they are in front just. But Billy Dodds, it was we're talking about United looking for a bit more fluidity, a bit more of a sign that, you know, last week was a first game, a lot of new faces in the side, and they want to try and be a bit smoother this week, but there hasn't really been any sign of it, has there?
It looks as if it's going to take a bit of time, Thomas, and yeah, it is early in the season, we have to throw that out there, but it does look disjointed. It looks nervous at the back when you're away from home in Europe. You're hoping it's not going to be that case, or nice and secure. Even the back line defending properly, taking no chances. There have been chances taken, they're letting balls bounce, they're not covering one another. Going forward, they've not retained the ball well enough, and they've been caught in the counter-attack, and they look pretty open right throughout the team. And it looks as if Sapsford's goal in the first leg could be so important, because they've really struggled so far this 45, Dundee United. They have had a couple of opportunities to kill it off, missed them, but you have to say the same for Strassen. They've had chances to get back in the game, so far from being over, very nervous, everything that we didn't want probably.
Yeah, you're looking for an early goal, a nerve settler, and they nearly got it through Jovu's header. But I'm interested, you mentioned the defensive side there. You've got three centre-backs in there. Obviously, it's only the second game they've played together, but what are the issues? Is it communication? Is it just, you know, getting to know one another, that where they're allowing balls to bounce? They're not really, they don't look connected.
I'd agree, and you're right to point out all those things, because that's what's been happening. I mean, it's one straight ball sometimes sails over them, sometimes a clearance high, they let it bounce. When they do play and it is going through centrally or even to either side, the other centre half doesn't get out and cover. When Ferry's high, the left centre back should be first into that slot, that left back slot, but he doesn't go in there. And when Ferry get caught high up in the first half, take the throw in, they get right down that side. Brandenberger crossed, and Mira put it over the crossbar. So it is going to take time, but you would think, yeah, I know it's 3 foreign centre halves, I know they're just thrown into a new club, but they should be functioning better, and right now they're not. And it's not just them, I have to say. They look a bit disjointed all over the pitch, what Michael and I have spoken about. When they build from the back and they're not a great team, it's easy to fire a central ball right through the heart of the Dundee United midfield, and sometimes it's a striker coming off, sometimes it's Agovic or Pimento who are just getting in the space and behind the midfield and being able to turn, and that shouldn't be allowed to happen. So a wee bit of getting better at being more solid. We said at the start of the game they're going to create a few chances, United, and they might take one, but there might be a goal or two down if they keep on in this manner.
You know, I was just thinking that about Jim Goodwin's comments last week in regards to the turnover of players, and he said that, you know, he's fairly used to it, he's accustomed to it. He's had to, you know, bring in a lot of players over his time in management, which is fair enough. But when you're looking at the way that he's wanting to play, it's not the sort of system that just happens quite quickly. It's quite nuanced. It's not as if it's just a straightforward 4-3-3 or a 4-2-2, you know, 4-4-2, sorry. There is a little bit of nuance to it, and I would imagine he'll be hoping that just with a little bit extra time and more training that he can start to implement, you know, what it is that he's looking to do. It's a 4-3-3, but the front three is too narrow, sort of 10, so to speak. And at the moment, certainly, they're not getting the control of the game that he would hope. With that control comes greater structure and safety in the game as well, because if you're controlling the game, especially against a side like Una Strassen, which they should be, then you would expect that they're not going to get countered on as often as they have and be as exposed so brutally at times, you know, because there's been gaping holes in that Dundee United side, and just in general play as well, it's been a little bit too easy to play against. Now, he would be, the concern is at the moment it's more hope that they don't get punished rather than expecting we'll be better and we'll be fine. And that's not a great position.
Might give the ball away, but we're solid. That's the way it looks. By the way, you're right with the structure. It looks as if usually sometimes have to work on, right, we've got to do a little bit in possession here because we're giving it away too cheaply. Or, right, a bit out of possession here because we're getting easily picked off. We're not really looking solid. So we're going to work on usually one bit of the game. But United look as if, Michael, they have to work on both sides of the game in that formation you're talking about.
And I'm just putting it down to the fact that, you know, there's so many players. It's a turnover. It's a slightly nuanced system that I would imagine that not all of them are accustomed to or have been playing that way last season at their other clubs, for example, and that does take a little bit of time. But unfortunately for Dundee United, there isn't time. You know, these are huge games with massive ramifications that really, having said all of that, you would still be hoping that it was a bit better than this. And second half, again, I use that word, I would hope that it's a bit better. But losing Trapanovsky is certainly not going to help the situation, because he was the brightest of the front players. He was the one that looked like he was capable of perhaps dropping a shoulder and beating somebody.
Yeah, well, indeed, we were saying it's early in the season, but I mean, the league starts on Sunday, so United will need to get better regardless. What you would say is they did get better in the second half at Tannadice last week and got an early goal, which settled things down a bit. We'll get more from the guys in a second before the second half in Luxembourg kicks off. Right now we're going to cross to Easter Road. Massive game for Hibernian at home to Michelons at 8 o'clock in the Europa League, and our match commentator Alistair Lamont is in position early doors for us to bring us the team news.
Hi Thomas, it's no great surprise that David Gray names exactly the same starting 11 as the one that began the game and earned themselves a creditable one each draw out in Denmark last week. It was a good performance from the Hibs side, and one that really sets them up for hopefully another positive result, a victory tonight to take them through to the third qualifying round. So it's Jordan Smith in goal, the back three of Warren O'Hara, Rocky Bashiri and Jack Iredale, Chris Cadden and Jordan Abita the wing backs, Josh Mulligan and Dylan Levitt anchoring the midfield with Jamie McGrath slightly ahead of them, and Martin Boyle and Kieran Bowie leading the line for the High Bees. The visitors have made a couple of changes. Paulinho, the left back, comes back and he missed the first leg. His wife was giving birth. And the other change is Valdemar Biskov coming in, and might be a slight change. They played a 4-4-2 last week. Where Scott Allen and I just debating there as to whether Biskov, who's replacing Buxau, who played up front as an out-and-out striker alongside Francolino, just wonder if Biskov might just play off the front slightly in a little bit of a tweak to the system. Jonas Lossell then is continuing in goal, back four of Kevin Mbabu, Hanbom Lee, Mads Beck and Paulinho. In the midfield centrally, Pedro Bravo and Oliver Sorensen, Dario Osorio, the Chilean right winger, and then the goal scorer from last week, terrific free kick it was from Aral Şimşir, the Turk. You'd imagine he'll be left. I think Valdemar Biskov maybe just in behind Francolino, who's already got 5 goals in the games he's played this season, including a hat-trick at the weekend. He is one that will certainly have to be watched, but I think it's going to be a capacity crowds here at Easter Road. First time they've sold it out since the redevelopment of the stand opposite us here in the main stand, and should be rocking here at Easter Road as Hibs look to progress to the Europa League third qualifying round.
Thank you very much indeed, Alistair Lamont there, bringing us right up to date with the Hibs team news. Same team for Hibernian as the first leg as they look to progress into the third qualifying round of the Europa League. So that's at 8 o'clock. We'll get there as soon as we're done with the action in Luxembourg. It was goalless at half-time as the players just starting to emerge back onto the pitch, and the home players coming out to some boos from the 1,000 strong United fans. So can United get the job done? They're 1-0 up on aggregate, but they would like a slightly more comprehensive result and performance. It's been a bit disjointed, as we've discussed, in that first half, as it was at times at Tannadice last week, and with the league opener away to Falkirk on Sunday, Dundee United looking for a bit more sharpness. They were forced into that change, as the guys mentioned. Trapanovsky forced off, and he was a real bright spot along with Will Ferry down the left-hand side. He's had to go off and Max Waters has come on. So we'll see if there are any further changes to the United team ahead of the second half. Time to get back to the action in the company of Michael Stewart, Billy Dodds and Rob McLeod.
Thanks, Thomas. Well, the Strassen players haven't exactly re-emerged with a spring in their step. They pretty much trudged back onto the pitch, but you would think that inside they're thinking there's a real possibility of them springing a major upset here tonight and winning their first ever European tie, because they have had opportunities. So have Dundee United, but Jim Goodwin would have hoped that this might well have been a whole lot more straightforward than it has been so far. Dundee United making another change during the interval, and it's Isaac Papo who started the first leg, who's come on as a sub at the start of the second half. And staying indoors is Ivan Dolček, and maybe not a great surprise. He did get that shot on target late first half, which produced a fairly comfortable save for Özcan, but fairly anonymous for most of that first 45, you would have to say. And so a reshuffle from Jim Goodwin during the interval. One enforced change, of course, in the first half with Trapanovski going off, Max Waters coming on. So now Papo replacing Dolček, and I don't see you raising your eyebrows with great surprise, Michael, at that change.
No, it wasn't great, I'll be brutally honest, but you know, obviously it's all very early doors for Dolček, coming to a new country, a new system as well, but yeah, I'm just interested to see how Dundee United adjust things with that change in the midfield. I think what they're going to do is have a middle three with Sibbald, Kamara and Papo coming on, and then they're just going with the two up top with Sapsford and Waters, rather than the single striker with the two in behind. So there's a slight adjustment, it looks like, in the midfield and forward areas.
Dundee United need to adjust in terms of attitude as well, and things like composure, which have been lacking for them so far. Maybe this is an opportunity for them at the start of the second half just to start again, because so much has gone wrong. But there's a bad sign immediately with a poor pass from Jovu, which gives possession away. It's more encouragement for Strassen. The ball into the box and tidied up by Papo, who's then caught late, 25 yards from his own goal, and that will be the first free kick of the second half. But maybe ominous after the interval was Dundee United immediately doing what they've done so many times in the game, Michael, coughing up possession far too cheaply.
It's just an unforced error. Jovu's not under any pressure. He tries to slide a ball into the middle of the park and he just passes it straight to one of the Strassen players. It's got to be better than that.
Esselink with the free kick, which is in itself pretty aimless, up the left-hand side. Nobody really looking as if they were going to get on the end of that for Dundee United. Out for a Strassen throw.
The concern here, Rob, is that there's a nervousness in Dundee United's play. They don't look overly comfortable or confident with what it is that they're trying to do, and when that happens, it breaks down and you end up just getting folk thumping the ball away.
And that old argument that the tie comes too early in the season, well, it doesn't really wash, because these ties always come around at the same time and you have to be ready. It's a match of massive significance when you think that Dundee United's last European tie that they won was back in 1997. What an opportunity this is tonight to rip up those record books, but they're making heavy weather of it so far, you would have to say. And Strassen continue to believe, Billy, that they're very much in this tie.
That's because they are, and the longer it goes, the more belief they'll get, and then the pressure comes on, nerves. You have to take all that into account, and you can see them. I'd love to see United score, obviously, just to get that cushion, because I think it will really settle them and they'll play better. But you can see them as time goes on, and it's getting more nervous. It's not fluid or fluent, as we've been saying all throughout the game. They're giving possession away still in this second half, and you can see Strassen getting something. If they do, and it is a mistake, you're hoping that United have already killed off the game, but it's been so poor even this early in the season, in that first half and the start of this second half.
The ball in the hands of Daryl Mira, left wing back for Strassen. He had that a glorious chance first half when the ball rolled back to him, left side of the box, and showing no composure whatsoever, he blazed it over the top. They have had opportunities as Dundee United win a free kick for a challenge on Zach Sapsford. A tactical reshuffle by Jim Goodwin. Second half, can they find a performance, the performance they need just to get this job done? Doesn't need to be spectacular, it just needs to get the appropriate result. But a goal would make them breathe a whole lot easier. At the moment, it just seems like such a slender advantage, and if they continue to make mistakes, they could eventually be caught out. Kereshtes with the cross from the left side, flicked away by Mira. Gets the break of the ball and looks to counter-attack here for Strassen. The ball fired up towards Hadji. Doesn't stick for him. United have it back. Good challenge from Sibbald. And now Sapsford, 25 yards from goal. Just got the ball caught under his feet. And Strassen get it clear. Throw in left-hand side for them. Mateus chasing as he shrugs off the challenge, which was less than convincing. But he's lost it now, and Dundee United have the ball. It's fired into the middle of the pitch for Papo. Will Ferry, left-hand side, just slowing things down, giving a few of his teammates a touch of the ball as they work it from left to right. Esselink out to Kamara. Slipped into the middle for Sapsford. The pass round the corner, and a chance here for Dundee United to create from the left side. But took a little bit too long, Max Waters, to make up his mind as he tried to force the ball in, and the power of his cross was choked in the challenge, and it flew pretty harmlessly into the gloves of Uzcan.
That's another one of those instances, though, for me, where I think it highlights Sapsford's, strength of his game. Balls come up to him. I think he's got a relatively good awareness of what's going on around him. He spins one round the corner. Max Waters is running down the channel, but you're right, he just took far too long to do anything. There wasn't loads of support, but Sapsford was busting a gut to get up to the edge of the box for him, and I think he could have perhaps, picked him out. Instead, too many touches, and the defenders managed to block the cross and take all the pace out of it and stick it in the goalkeeper's hands.
It looks better. As Michael was saying, it's like a kind of 1-1 at times, and one of the strikers will drop. It's like trying to make a diamond at times, but you're right, up to him, awareness, flicks around the corner.
Mateus with the cross ball in from the left side for Strassen, and as the ball breaks back, it's driven well wide of target, but there's still very much in this game.
Yeah, given goal by Delgado, and he drags his shot, but I mean, they're still in it as well. We've already touched on that, the longer the game goes on, but United just be getting that extra man midfield. They're hoping they'll keep the ball better, and then one of their strikers dropping might give them a problem as well, but it looks better balanced. I think that would be the term you would use.
Well, at the moment, that very expensive Luxembourg beer is keeping the Dundee United fans happy, because they're not really getting a whole lot of entertainment from what their team are coming up with so far. They're hobbling at the moment towards the third qualifying round, and obviously with lots of football to be played here, running the risk of not making it any further in this competition. They need to create something. They need to take the chance this time.
Well, I mean, the next goal is massive, because if Dundee United get it, you get the feeling that, as Billy's already mentioned, it just takes the pressure off, and it will be able to relax the team slightly. The longer it stays at 0-0, the nervousness and the anxiety is only going to get ramped up even more, and that will be coming from the crowd as well.
Kerejtes getting himself into all sorts of trouble on the left-hand side. He was eventually surrounded by 3 Strassen players, mainly because he didn't get rid of the ball, and maybe gets lucky in the end that it goes out for a throw-in on that far side, and no serious damage done. But when he had the ball at his feet, he just didn't seem to know where he was going with it.
Yeah, it felt like that, and he had a little bit like that with Jovu in the first half when he drove forward and he looked as if he was going up a blind alley and then just try to backheel it. It's like, it's a bit of both. You've got to have options in possession if you're driving with the ball, especially from that back line. Got to give people make angles to give you a pass, but you've also got to know when you're in possession what you're going to do with it. That's where it's not been quite right for United so far.
Defending for Esselink to do, covering across from that central defensive position, force the ball out of play, but here come Strassen on the attack, stopped by a crunching challenge from Craig Sibbald, and now it's Papo who angles it wide for Ferry, slotted through towards Sapsford, the goalkeeper well out of his comfort zone, but up has gone the offside flag.
Did look off, he looks as if he's just gone a split second too early, Sapsford. Again, it's better build-up play. Papu getting the ball, driving past his man in midfield and then reversing it out wide, and then eventually when the pass comes, Sapsford is straight offside.
3-4-3 has become 3-5-2 for Dundee United, second half since those changes, but the theme of the game is pretty much the same. As Vova drives forward from the midfield, he must have gone about 40 or 50 yards with the ball there, pretty much unchallenged until he was eventually stopped. So those worrying signs in the game continue for Dundee United as the ball is played out from the back to Papo, and they try to work it down the left with Ferry. Whistle goes for a free kick. Stop-start at the moment, mainly stop.
Yeah, I mean, that was slightly concerning that Vova was able to drive forward unopposed to a great extent, but I mean, it's not exclusively down to the defence, but I think a large part of this is that back three are very comfortable and happy dropping off the game, you know, allowing the game to be stretched, and they need to take responsibility and actually press up, allow the team to get in contact with each other, rather than, as I said, they're quite happy to sit off, drop off the game. It makes it a nightmare for the midfielders because they've got acres of space to try and cover. You've got to try and squeeze the game collectively, and in large part for me that starts as that defensive unit.
Kerejtes with the free kick for Dundee United, which maybe just sums up the game for the Tannadice team tonight, because he just launched that straight to the goalkeeper, the Strassen goalkeeper, with nobody in white with any prospect of getting on the end of it. Completely wasted set piece. Well won in the middle by Kamara, but the problem is when Dundee United win it in situations like that, they generally don't keep it. And the ball is back with the team in red and black, and that is Una Strassen. 57 minutes on the clock. Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland. Hibs against Midtjylland to come later. That's an 8 o'clock start. We're hoping for 2 Scottish teams in the next round in Europe. But at the moment, the Dundee United fans will probably be biting their nails if they could take their hands off the pint tumblers in front of them. Ball launched forward towards Sapsford, tries to hold it up and wins a free kick 25 yards out, right in front of goal.
Well, talk about Dundee United being the architects of their own downfall in large parts of the first half. That was it, big time there for Strassen. Just a simple bit of play. The player ends up trying to play a ball infield, but he plays it deep as well over the last defender, makes it a foot race for him and Sapsford, and eventually they're running back towards their own goal and brings them down.
Yeah, it was the captain, Denis Zagovic, with a pretty rash challenge, you would have to say, and it's offered up an opportunity this for Dundee United. We're 13 minutes or so into the second half, and it's still goalless in Luxembourg, and it's 1-0 United on aggregate. Will Ferry is over this. Zach Sapsford there as well. As Jim Goodwin looks on it, Sapsford with the shot. It doesn't get beyond the wall, and when it spins out wide, it's collected by Mira, and the ball goes out in the end off Sibbald for a throw-in for the home team.
Kind of sums up the game. A slappy free kick, no commitment to it from Sapsford. I thought Will Ferry was probably the one who was going to bend it with the left foot. Sapsford takes it, strikes it straight into the wall.
On the ball, Sibold. Back it goes with Bert Hesselink in the back three for United. Forward it goes and it finds its way through to Papo, left-hand side. Ferry with them as Isaac Papo tries to place it wide of the goalkeeper, but it ends up going right down the throat of Özcan, and he'll probably be hearing all about that from Will Ferry, who was in a very good position alongside him.
Yeah, he had runners, didn't he? Could have used them, but goes to curl it from about 15 yards at the angle, straight at the goalkeeper, Papu. But much better play again. They've got options. We said that when you're driving from defence. In possession, he's fired it up to Satford, who does a lovely dummy and sets Papu free. But as we said, he had options, but chose to hit the strike straight at the goalkeeper.
Goes without saying that a goal here for United would be absolute gold dust in the context of this game, because it would just let them breathe a little, which is something they can't really do at the moment because this advantage is so slender and they're struggling to be too convincing. We've played an hour in Luxembourg. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0, and it's still that 1-0 advantage, courtesy of Zach Sapsford in the first leg.
So obviously it's not a huge venue, but you've got to say that the United fans that are over there have been in good voice. They've made a good atmosphere.
Yeah,
I think, and we've been there, we've all been there, Michael, where this is one of those ones that's a struggle. It's early in the season, you hopefully win the game, but you take your draw and those well-deserved expensive pints, you have plenty of them, and just forget about it.
Sounds like a good idea at the moment, actually, to be honest. 61 minutes gone. Strassen 0, Dundee United 0. And Bert Esselink has the ball at the back for United as that back three look to knit together. Started at Tannadice last week, started again together tonight, but looked like there is still work to be done in terms of pulling that together to be a tight unit, which will be the Jim Goodwin plan. Changes coming for Strassen. Amin Zenaji is one of those coming on, the Algerian wearing number 9. And Nicolas Perez is coming off the bench for them as well. Half an hour to go, and you'd be hard pushed to be anywhere near certain about your prediction about how this is going to end. But Strassen making the changes, pretty positive changes, it looks like, to try to get at Dundee United, and every reason for them to think they might have some joy tonight. And that's all down to the way United have played against them. Dundee United have got a free kick. It's Sapsford is on the deck again, having won it. It's just outside the box, left-hand side.
It's a real opportunity. You're talking 17 yards just at the angle of the box. Curl it in, get runners, try and find that far post area. It's out in that left-hand side, but it was really poor from Vova. He was clumsy against Sapsford, just could have stood his ground, ushered them out the way, just clattered into the back of them. It's a real opportunity.
It's Ferry and Sapsford who are over this at the corner, left corner of penalty box. 4 in the middle, couple just outside the box. Central, Sapsford clips it in, back post, big chance, big goal for Dundee United. And it's Yuri Jovu who missed the sitter early on in the match from Trapanovski's corner kick, this time on the end of the free kick, and he powers the header down and away from Özcan. And can you hear that massive sigh of relief from Luxembourg? The Dundee United fans celebrate because their team is surely now en route to the third qualifying round of this Conference League. 1-0 on the night, 2-0 overall.
Thank goodness for that. Yes, a huge sigh of relief. Free header. We saw a couple of moments in the first half where Dundee United had great opportunities inside the box, free header, a free shot. They didn't manage to hit the target, but on this occasion Jove makes no mistake, fires it down low, and those Chan's got absolutely no chance, and it's a massive goal for Dundee United, and you would really hope now that it just alleviates all that pressure.
First real bit of quality from United in the match. Satsford picking out a great area, well worked free kick round the back, and he's freed up, Jove, isn't he, and he's left all alone, and he does the right thing, just buries it into the ground, into the far corner, and you would think they would go on and enjoy it now, and their play will become a little bit better as well because that pressure is off.
The 23-year-old Moldovan scores his first goal for Dundee United. Might have had it earlier in the game, but he certainly made the most of that opportunity. Had to be scoring, and he did. Well picked out by Zach Sapford, who scored the goal in the first leg. He's created the goal in the second leg, and if you say that was eagerly awaited by the Dundee United fans, you would be guilty of understatement, and they can maybe relax a little now and hope their team can play a little bit better in the last half hour, and hopefully it's a comfortable passage into the next qualifying round. All that would change, of course, were Strassen to equalise on the night, and they do have a corner kick out on the left-hand side. Two-0 down in the tie. In comes the corner kick, headed away at the near post. Shooting chance, though, 25 yards out, and the shot was always on the rise. Did it take a nick on its way? It's headed out by Sibbald, and it was a pretty crashing right footer, but must have taken a touch because it was a corner kick.
I didn't see where it took the deflection. It looked as if it was nowhere near anybody, but the officials pointing straight away for the corner.
Another corner kick, and it's on its way into the box, and this time a blast of the referee's whistle, who was maybe in doubt about his corner kick decision moments earlier, and sometimes you find that a little free kick is awarded to the defending team at that point. Carestes on the deck, and the Dundee United fans are certainly not on the deck. They are up on their feet, and they are loving every moment of this now. And maybe in the wee small hours of the morning they'll look back in this game and think it was a classic European victory, because they're en route to it right now.
See that they've spent a fortune. You would think so. It's surely is going to be straightforward now. You can see them all. I mean, we could hear the Dundee United fans, but you can see them now that they think it's over. The pressure's off, not just for the players on the pitch. Pressure's off for them. Travelled a long way, spent a lot of money, as we've been saying, and now they can look as if they can go and enjoy it for the last, 24 minutes or so.
And if they can see this out, then it would be, you would imagine, Rapid Vienna for them next, who are 2 goals up already against the Montenegrin Team FK Brecic. But that game doesn't kick off till, in about 5 minutes time, so we'll find out later who they play. But they just want to be better now, be solid, and get the job done, having looked less than solid for most of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was chatting to a Dundee United fan after the game at Tannadice last week, and he was talking about how him and his brother had already booked their flights for Vienna. So this is the first part of that job. Looks like it's done. They'll be looking forward to Rapid getting their business done, and they can look forward to the tie after that. Beautiful city of Vienna.
That Dundee United fan might have been examining the refund policy during the first half for that flight to Vienna, but it looks a safer bet now, and that's some prospect for Dundee United, and that's what qualifying for Europe is all about, isn't it? It's getting through games like this, Billy, and then, you know, Rapid Vienna would qualify as a glamour game, wouldn't it, for Dundee United? Yeah,
a team that's well known for, previous games in Europe. A big name in Europe, Rapid Vienna. Maybe not quite so big now, but it's still a big tie for Dundee United to now look forward to, and hopefully go and enjoy a lot more than they have this tie. And as Michael said, nice place as well.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting Luxembourg isn't, but
are you suggesting that won't be an off-tube commentary? Yeah.
I'm not sure. But Brian will be there though. You know, Brian travels well.
Yeah, if he's got his expenses back from this trip by then, of course.
He's quite happy to go to Methil. It's fine.
The new Bayview, he's convinced, is what this ground is reminiscent of. Just the one stand. Lovely views across Luxembourg in the background, and it's looked at times that as if Dundee United have been looking into the distance and not exactly concentrating on the job at hand, but they've got there in the end. Although were they to concede any time soon, then it could get twitchy again. At the moment, 2 goals in it, and looking to surmount this European hurdle, hopefully the first of a few for them. It would be nice if the other Scottish teams outside Rangers and Celtic made a contribution towards the coefficient in the coming weeks and months. Hibs later, of course, at Easter Road, full house Easter Road against Midtjylland after that terrific first leg draw, which gives them every opportunity, but they'll have to be good tonight. They'll probably have to be better than they were in the first leg to get the job done. Dundee United have got this game where they want it at the moment, but Zachary Hadji in possession on the left side for Strassen, and Jovu, having scored that goal, gets back to get the sliding challenge in and stop the cross, and it's gone out for a throw-in close to the corner flag. Jovu hoping his goal tonight is going to be significant, and it's just going to help to squeeze Strassen out of the equation, and they've been very much in it for most of this match. It's been hard going for Dundee United, but if they can get the job done, no one's going to look back and reflect on the quality of the game. It's all about the result. So Strassen looking to make something happen with Matthias bustling his way to the byline, and the ball goes behind, and it will be another Strassen corner kick. We've played 71 minutes. Strassen 0, Dundee United 1 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. Sapsford in the first leg. Jovu tonight. Some defending to do here. Strassen throwing plenty at this from the corner kick. United get it clear, and the long-range shot from about 40 yards is blocked. Strassen tried to keep it alive into the box, punched away by Kucherenko. Looked like he could have caught that. Back it goes to the edge of the area, and Vova. Is there a shooting chance here for Strassen? It was all very tentative, and Dundee United able to deal with the danger there. And Sapsford launches one down the pitch for Kamara to chase. Özcan well out of his penalty box to get there first. Didn't get the greatest of touches, but in the end managed to get it out of harm's way.
Yeah, as I said, Kucherenko, he's not afraid to come, and sometimes that does take pressure off your back line, and especially centre halves from free kicks, corner kicks. But it comes too many times for me on this evidence and last week's, where sometimes he should just stay, and it causes a bit of panic. It did so on that occasion. Never get, well, he got there, got the punch on it, but it wasn't secure, and that's 3 or 4 we've seen now where he's been really ropey.
The most entertaining pictures tonight are of the Dundee United fans in celebration mode as the ball is played into the box by Strassen, and again Dundee United are able to get it clear. The match has not been a classic watch by any standard tonight, but the United fans in full party mode as Vova drives forward for Strassen, looking to find a way back into the game, and it's a flying save from Kucherenko down to his right-hand side to claw that away from the substitute Perez.
Well, you've got to say it's another, concerning moment for Dundee United. Far too easy. Vova driving through the heart of the Dundee United team, and I'm just quite taken aback at how easy it's been for Una Strassen at times to drive effectively, double-decker bus through their gaping holes in their team. It's not been particularly great, and we're not talking about in dangerous areas just allowing them to have the ball. We're talking about areas that you'd be expecting somebody to be in.
3 more subs on for Una Strassen. Jimmy Gonsalves is one of them. Alexander Sakras has come on as well, as they ring the changes here and look to find a formula that can get them initially a goal to get them back in the tie, and that might just change things again for a pretty fragile looking Dundee United tonight. Were they to concede, well, that might well just change the complexion again.
Well, I mean, look, the biggest thing is the result, and they're en route to another victory and getting through the tie. But if you're looking at the performance, I don't think you could look at any Dundee United player and say, oh, they've had a really good game.
Sapsford to Kamara, first time into the middle. It was a stretch to try and get a boot to it by Agovic, but he managed to get something on it, and off his line came Uzcan to make the save as Dundee United looked to score again.
And just following up on that point, Rob, I think there's a lot of them you would say they've not actually done a great deal. You've not actually noticed them in the game. So your next conclusion would be, all right, okay, well, collectively have they been a really strong performance? No, not really. It's just been a bit of a nothing performance.
Yeah.
I've got that feeling as well, but we don't want to be too critical, because the job is done, as Michael says, and they're through and they can celebrate. But they're going to have to improve a lot to do well in the Premiership on this evidence.
And quickly, because Rapid Vienna, we're talking about, this is a quick turnaround. This is not, all right, well, they've got Rapid Vienna in 3 weeks' time. No, this is coming thick and fast now.
All we can talk about is what we're seeing, and the result doesn't really paper over the cracks of the performance, I don't think. When you think about what's to come, it needs to go up quite a few levels, doesn't it, even into this weekend?
I would think so, but you can also say that Scottish teams have gone in Europe and done okay in games and still gone out to inferior opposition, and you've lost this type of game. So there's positives to be taken. As long as they do improve, then there'll be no problem. But on this evidence, they've got to get a whole lot better, because it's been patchy. You'd still expect that at this time of the season, but they've got to be on it. We've already touched on that as well. You ain't getting that time. It's a here and now. United fans are celebrating, quite rightly so, but they've must do better as a report card.
Well, there's a good bit of handling from the goalkeeper. He's looked as if he's got 1 or 2 question marks about him, the Ukrainian Yevgeny Kucherenko, but that time it was a long cross beyond the back post. He came a long way, had to get it, and that time he did wrap his gloves around it, where he's been a little bit uncertain at times, but then that would go for quite a few players round about him as well.
Yeah, and that is a good take, and he does come, and he's not scared to come off his line, as I said, but and going back, he did a really good save from the previous effort as well. So he looks a competent goalkeeper, just sometimes his decision making, for me, looking at the back three, it's going to cause a bit of panic in the defensive line.
Zach Sapsford's coming off for Dundee United. He'll get a great reception as he gives way, because what contribution he's made in the tie. Scored the goal at Tannadice, and he created the goal, his free kick tonight, which picked out Yovu to head in for 2-0 on the night. Off goes Sapsford. You can hear the reception he's getting from the United fans, and on comes the very promising Owen Sturton off the bench to play his part in this second leg. Much more imposing figure than he was, the youngster. He's clearly done a bit of gym work and looks as if he has something about him. And of course, Jim Goodwin is looking to up the Scottish quota on the night as well, having had no Scots in his starting lineup last week. But local lad Owen Sturton helps, certainly. And looks promising, Michael, doesn't he?
He was certainly put himself about, and he was bright last week when he came on in the tie. As we've mentioned already, Max Waters was not on for long, and then Owen Sturton came on, and I thought he looked bright.
Puts himself about. Physical for that young lad.
Yep.
Well, he's from Forfar. He would put himself about, wouldn't he? You would imagine. And looking to make an impression. I wonder if he might have a say here before we're finished. Dundee United don't need another goal, but no one would be complaining if they turned 2-0 in the tie into 3 as a loose pass from Strassen sets Ferry in motion, and it takes a failed interception to stop his pass getting through. Sturton tries the cross from the left-hand side. It's headed behind, and it will be a corner kick. And it was Dennis Agovic, who's in the way. Corner kick coming up.
I think there's that Forfar hard man you were alluding to a few seconds ago. He's just shown his strength again to get the ball, hits in, gets the corner. Sorry, Mickey.
I was just going to say, Bill, I don't know about you, but I think it's been quite noticeable. Obviously, there's been a slight tweak to the system from Dundee United, but I think it's been quite noticeable that Chevet and Will Ferry have not been as advanced in this second half, and I wonder whether it's just been the message for Jim Goodwin. Sit in a little bit more, try and make sure there's a little bit more stability at the back. I've got to say, I don't think it has, dramatically, strengthened the back line, but it's certainly noticeable they've not been as far up the park.
Is that suggesting he's worried about the back three as well?
It's the Ghanaian 21-year-old Isaac Papo with the corner kick. Strassen get it clear. Vova stumbles and falls and wins a free kick, which even the home fans probably have doubts about, given against Kamara. But Dundee United not feeling too much pain at the moment with 10 minutes to go, because very much heading through.
So glad they got the goal though, because you can see it's a kind of party atmosphere now, celebrating that they've got through. As I said, you move on, you don't remember the game, but you celebrate you've gone through. The performance isn't great. Jim Goodwin will work on that. The fans can enjoy it now. Can you imagine 81 minutes and they were still just up 1-0? It'd be so panicky, so rigid, but it's a little bit freer now.
Yeah, I think when you haven't won a European tie since 1997, you can probably have a fair old party, and it does seem as if there are the startings of something special on the streets and in the bars of Luxembourg this evening. Great travelling support and making lots of noise, although there have been times in the game, because it was going so badly for United, that they've gone pretty quiet. And they certainly don't want to be losing a goal at this stage, because that would just give Strassen the lift that Dundee United certainly don't want them to get. The ball is back on halfway for the home team, and we're heading towards 82 minutes on Sportsound BBC Radio Scotland, and it's a night of European drama, because Midtjylland and Hibs coming next at Easter Road. Strassen here looking to create something, but the cross from the left-hand side is watched all the way by Kucherenko as it swings behind his goal, and it's another step closer to a momentous night for Dundee United. The performance certainly doesn't deserve that adjective, but as we've been saying, it's all about the achievement. It's all about getting the job done and looking forward to another European tie. Goal kick for Jim Goodwin's team, and Yevgeny Kucherenko to take it, left-footed, launches it down the middle. Strassen looking for the little trigger that might give them a late chance here. Perez winning the free kick and gets the ball immediately from Vova, and they will work it out wide right. Last season's league runners-up in Luxembourg. Their best finish in their 103-year history, and their second consecutive European campaign. Last one ended pretty abruptly, and it looks as if this one will go the same way, thankfully, for Dundee United, who've managed to do just enough here, and hoping they can enjoy the last few minutes of the game, just be relatively relaxed, and that's not a word we've used too often tonight. But after that Yovu goal, the Dundee United fans are able to whip their tops off, as certainly more than a few of them have done, and just enjoy this special moment. European ventures have become few and far between in recent decades for Dundee United after the glory years for them. It's all about making little steps of progress now for the class of 2025. And of course it's a reshuffled class for Jim Goodwin this season, with so many big players having gone: Dolby, Walton, Stevenson, Gallagher, Docherty, Middleton. The list goes on in terms of players who've exited Tannadice. And we've emphasised quite a few times tonight that there's a real job to be done in gelling this all together, with 17 different nationalities in the squad. Cross comes in from the right-hand side for the home team, but watched drifting behind again by Kucherenko, and the camera again focuses on the Dundee United fans enjoying their night out in Luxembourg. Let's hope they've got plenty spending money.
If not, Brian will buy them a pint, surely.
I would have thought so.
It's a nice position for the fans to be in. As I said, there's positives to be taken, not about the performance, because it has to get a whole lot better, but we have seen Scottish teams struggle in Europe go out at this stage, and at least they've got the job done. It's the only thing you can say about it. Been many times where fans have had to travel home a long distance and in the doldrums, but the fans out there probably not realise how much is to be done on the pitch. It's the ones who are watching at home will be picking the bones out it, but they must improve.
Yeah. Rangers less than convincing last night at times, but great result for them, that 1-1 draw in Athens, with Panathinaikos getting them through and securing European group stage football. So with Dundee United on their way to victory here, maybe Hibs can complete the hat-trick later on at Easter Road against Midtjylland.
Well, fingers crossed, and hopefully what I would suggest is, though, that the poor performances from the two Scottish sides this week have been able to get the results. I don't think if they made it a hat-trick and Hibs performed, badly, that they'd be able to get through. No. They're going to have to put a performance in against Midtjylland.
Yeah, top quality opposition at Easter Road tonight, and I think David Gray's well aware that they need to step it up in the second leg. They can't live off that great result that they got in Denmark. It needs to be top drawer from Hibs to complete that hat-trick, which would be a bit special for Scottish football at this early stage, where we tend to find ourselves making excuses for disappointing results. Jim Goodwin will be watching this with a whole lot more comfort than he was in the first half, as Camara does some good ball winning in the middle and plays the ball towards Owen Sturton, right side of the box, and he rifles one in, looking for the far corner, and down goes Özcan to make the save. Very positive from the young sub.
Yeah, it was positive. Camara did really well to rob the player and then play Sturton in the right hand side. His first touch just put him a little bit wide, but he did the right shot in terms of it was a cross-come shot that could have found the far corner, and if the goalkeeper had spilled it, maybe allowed Papu a tap in, but the goalkeeper gathered it well. But good counter-attack play from Dundee United.
He's 18, Owen Sturton, and looks really promising. Looks as if he's going to emerge this season and play a bit more, feature a bit more for Dundee United, and always good for the fans to see somebody progressing in the way he has done. As Strassen get the ball into the box, and it takes a sliding challenge from Bert Esselink back towards his own goal to just hook that away and get it behind for the corner.
I know what you're going to say, mate. Too easy again, too open.
I was, but then I was more smirking at Papu Atapin. I thought it was a new player.
Corner kick on the right-hand side for Strassen, and we're inside the 89th minute in Luxembourg. 1-0 United, 2-0 on aggregate. Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. In comes the corner kick, in swinging. Dealt with by Kucherenko, gets it away. But Strassen can get the ball back in. Floated towards the back post. United with plenty of height defensively to get rid of that. Strassen, though, looking to fashion an opportunity. Gonçalves, the substitute, looking for the 25-yarder to head towards the top corner. Instead, it headed about 10 yards wide of target from him, dragged off target. We're into the 90th minute, and Dundee United are almost there.
There's a train disappearing, left the station behind the ground there, heading for Luxembourg City, so they'll maybe have to stay more local, the fans, and Brian perhaps, for their evening's entertainment.
I think the ground's in the middle of an industrial estate, so I don't think there's much going on round about there. I think they will be looking, if not to catch that train, looking to catch some other transport to get them into the centre of things tonight, the centre of entertainment, because I think they are in search of a party tonight as we just about hit 90 minutes in Luxembourg. We'll find out how much is going to be added. It's all going to be pretty academic at this stage, because Dundee United, despite living dangerously at times, have got the job done, and they're into 3 minutes now of stoppage time as they look to search out the possibility of another goal. Against Sturton, making a nuisance of himself in attack. Took a bit of dealing with before the ball ran through to Özcan. Meantime, Jovu is going to get a yellow card to go with his goal. Won't mind that too much for a foul out on the touchline. And European exit time beckons for Una Strassen, having been in this tie in contention for quite some considerable time, but finally squeezed out as the ball is played back in, left-hand side. United managed to defend it this time, and Esselink hammers the ball up towards halfway, and goalkeeper Özcan is there to funnel the ball back out wide. Strassen still hoping they can get something out of at least this second leg, but Dundee United will want to keep that clean sheet and keep that 2-0 differential, which will see them in all probability play Rapid Vienna next. Great challenge in the middle of the pitch to win back the ball for Dundee United. It's angled out towards Ferry, and he won't quite keep it in. It's gone out for a throw, and there's a cluster of Dundee United fans over on that side, most of them partially clad by this stage of the evening.
I'm not looking at that, maybe you are, but anyway, Sybil did really well there, to his reaction to get back in and get the tackle after giving the ball away. The one thing Dundee United have done this half, they've limited real chances the way Strassen had in the first half. They've only had one in note when they had the shot. I think it was Perez. Kucherenko had to make the save, but that's been about it this second half. So a little bit more secure, but still not absolutely rock solid.
Well, it's going to be a big cheer shortly from 1,000 or so Dundee United fans, because we have 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining. And Sturton again applying pressure, winning the ball, left side of the box, tries the angle shot, and it's just gone wrong side of the post. That would have been the icing on the cake had the teenager scored, but that will probably be the last action of the night. And he continues to do his reputation no harm at all. Full time in Luxembourg, and Dundee United have won a European tie for the first time in 28 years. Momentous occasion, and celebrated in style by the Dundee United fans, lots of them who've made the trip to Luxembourg, and despite some worrying moments and at times unconvincing performance from their team, which is still trying to gel together, they managed to get the job done. 1-0 at Tannadice, Zach Sapsford's goal, and it was his free kick in the second half, which picked out Yuri Yovu, the Moldovan defender, to head in past Uzcan and finally allow the Dundee United fans to breathe a little easier on the night. They were feeling a little bit nervous about how things might pan out in this game. The performance at times less than convincing for Jim Goodwin's team, but it was always going to be all about result, and what a result it is for the team in Tangerine. Looks like they will play Rapid Vienna in the third qualifying round of this Conference League, having got the job done in Luxembourg. An aggregate of 2-0, and on the night it was Strassen 0, Dundee United 1.
Dundee United in the UEFA Conference League.